Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Cory, and on today's video I want to help you plan ahead if you're thinking about doing the 28-mile 4-pass loop located in Aspen, Colorado. Let's get it. So just a quick overview of the 4-pass loop. It's a 28-mile round trip located in Aspen, Colorado, and covers 4 passes that exceed 12,000 feet, and there's over 8,000 feet of elevation gain. The 4 passes you're gonna go over are Buckskin, Trail Rider, Frigid Air, and West Maroon Pass. Now for the average person, you'll see yourself backpacking this trip in about 3 days and 2 nights. Now first of all, if you're traveling to Aspen from the Denver area, I would highly suggest you go over Independence Pass if the road is open. The main reason why I would suggest this is because it's gonna save you a lot of time getting to Aspen, but at the same time, you're gonna see a lot of beautiful views and you may even see some wildlife along the way as we did. So once we got into Aspen, we actually chose to park at the Buttermilk Ski Resort parking lot. It's about 3 miles away from the Aspen Highlands parking lot from where you take the shuttle up to Maroon Lake. We actually chose to stay here because it's an overnight parking lot and it only cost us about $18 to stay for 3 nights. Once you get to the lot, you just park in the designated overnight parking lots. There'll be a little machine that will give you specific instructions in order to see how many nights you want to stay. From that point, you'll just insert your credit card, pay for the nights you want to stay, and then leave a little receipt tab that comes out of the machine on the front of your dash on your car. Now from the parking lot, you can actually choose to take the bus, which runs into Aspen for free. And then when you get to Aspen, you're gonna hop on another bus that brings you back up to Aspen Highlands Ski Resort. We chose to take a lift on the way up there. It was only $13 and it saved us a lot of time. One of the biggest things you can do before you actually go on this trip is to schedule your shuttle ride. On a usual day, they'll run about every 15 to 30 minutes, starting at 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. You can schedule your shuttle ride online, and it's only about $15 to do so. But once again, this is the time that you don't want to mess up. You want to schedule your shuttle ride in advance because they're only taking 15 people instead of 30 people like normal. So we actually had a tough time getting a shuttle pass. That's why we had to start so late in the day. But we actually got to the Aspen Highlands Ski Resort early enough to where I got to hop on a shuttle that was about an hour earlier than what I was supposed to go. My girlfriend then arrived 15 minutes after I got up to Maroon Lake on my shuttle. So I was able to kind of walk around, get a feel for the area, go up to the visitor center and check that out. And then also when you're up there, make sure when you go to the visitor center, which is just right at the restrooms, there's a map there that'll show you all the campsites that you can go on along the 4-pass loop. It'll also specify too which campsites you can have a fire and which ones you can't have a fire at. Once you get off your shuttle though, you can get out, walk around a little bit. You'll be able to see the Maroon Bells right in front of you. It's a great view. I would suggest taking a lot of pictures. Walk around Maroon Lake if you can for a little bit before you actually have to go out into the wilderness. There's a well-marked trail right next to Maroon Lake that you walk along until you get to the main trailhead. When you get to this trailhead, that's when you're gonna register. So make sure you fill out the registration, show how many people are in your group, how many days you're gonna be out in the wilderness, and when you started your trip, just so that they know where you're at. From there, you're gonna hike about 1.5 miles to Crater Lake. If you wanna go stop by Crater Lake, I would highly suggest it. It's a cool little view of the Maroon Bells that not a lot of people see. The lake is a little lower this year than usual, but it's still worth going out of your way for. But Crater Lake is a key point because once you get to the intersection that has Crater Lake at it, there's actually gonna be a T. So if you go to the left, that's gonna take you clockwise along the 4-pass loop. And if you go to the right, that's gonna take you counterclockwise and up towards Buckskin Pass. We chose to do it counterclockwise. I know a lot of people will suggest going clockwise because the views will get better and better as you go. But we started a little later in the day. So one of our main goals was wanting to get over Buckskin Pass and to Snowmass Lake so that we could camp out for the night. Our first night, we ended up camping at Snowmass Lake. I don't care what your time schedule is on this backpack. If you have any time at all, I would highly suggest camping out at Snowmass Lake. It was one of the best views I've ever seen camping, and you can't really beat the atmosphere there. The views at Snowmass are probably gonna be some of the best that you're gonna see along this trail. And for how many campsites are actually at the lake, I would highly suggest you stay there for at least 1 night along this trip. One other big thing to point out too is that if you're gonna be filtering out your water along this entire backpack, you're gonna have a lot of spots to do so. There's a lot of water, there's a lot of running rivers going through. So if you have a filtration system, I would suggest you stop at a few of the rivers that you're gonna find and make sure that you have at least 2 liters of water at a time. But if you're at all worried that you're gonna run out of water on this trip, I would highly suggest you stop worrying about that, because if you have a filtration system, if you have at least 2 liters of water on you at all times, I think you'll be fine because there's plenty of stops that you can make along the way. The one other big thing in the White River National Forest is that you're gonna have to take a bear box. We got this one right here from REI. It's massive. It's like one of the last ones that they had. And that's another thing I wanted to tell you is that you want to make sure you get your bear canister as early as possible. We were forced to kind of take the bigger one since they didn't have as many left over. And when you're going to Aspen, there's only 1 or 2 places that you can actually rent bear canisters. And I wouldn't suggest going all that way just to be told that there's none left or there's maybe one that's too big for your pack to take along with you. But bear canisters on the trail are a must. And I mean, they're not actually too bad to use. And if you're worried about the size of a lot of bear canisters, I wouldn't be too worried at all because you can still fit a lot of your food in here and then fill it up with a bunch of the clothes that you have that you'd be carrying in your bag. Also, if you're going to be using a bear box from REI, make sure you take a quarter with you. That way you can actually open up these little slots in order to take the lid off and on. And the last thing is when you're using your bear canister, make sure that you put it at least 100 feet away from your campsite just to deter any animals or bears that might be in the area. Also, it's highly important to bring at least 2 big Ziploc bags or a small trash bag in order to pack out any trash you're going to have along the trail. When we were hiking, we really didn't see that much trash along the trail, which made it pretty nice because you really don't want to see any trash along the way. So please bring a couple extra bags and make sure you pack everything out with you. So the second day that we were backpacking, we actually finished the rest of the 3 passes. And then we ended up staying down at Crater Lake where you actually start the hike. Camping at Crater Lake was awesome because we got to hike all day, finish all the passes, but then be able to camp back at the starting point and know that we really didn't have too much further to go to get back to the main trailhead. So then once you're done with the loop and you're actually back at the visitor center or the main parking lot for the Maroon Bells, you're just gonna wait for another shuttle to arrive. They usually arrive every half hour between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. So whatever time you end up getting done on the hike, you'll be able to get back on a shuttle. I would suggest trying to finish a little earlier because if you're gonna wait until 3 or 4 in the afternoon to finish your hike, there may be a lot more people that are stuck at Maroon Lake and they want to get back down. And let me remind you that the last shuttle leaves at 5 o'clock. So if you're not on that shuttle, you're going to have to walk down that 9-mile road and there is no cell service to be found. After you get back to Aspen Highlands, one of the bus drivers from the shuttles will give you a bus ticket that you can use. You can take that into Aspen and then go back out to the parking lot at Buttermilk like we did. And when you're leaving Aspen, if you want to have a nice little breakfast or a lunch on the way out of town, I would actually suggest going to the Spring Cafe. It's on the northeast side of Aspen. I have never been disappointed by the food there, the coffee, or even the atmosphere. There's a cool little sitting area outside now and then it stares up at the mountains, which is awesome to see after especially a long hike. And the location is probably one of the biggest reasons why I would say go to the Spring Cafe, because especially on like a Sunday when the farmers markets are going in Aspen, you really don't want to be downtown whatsoever. So if you can stay to the northeast side of town, that would be in your best benefit, because once you actually eat there and you want to head back out of town, you can go over Independence Pass and be back on that road within a few minutes of arriving at Spring Cafe. And if you're going over Independence Pass on your way to Denver, make sure you soak up as many views as you can. Stop at Twin Lakes for a coffee, or even just make sure you check out some of the scenery along the way. But anyway, you guys, that's my little 2 cents on the trip. I hope this helped everyone out if you're planning on doing the 4-pass loop. If you have any suggestions about this video at all or want to help out, make sure you comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this or check out my page, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Strava and Instagram as well. And thank you guys so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.